So we can get going. So 45 minutes of Pilates, lots of different levels I will offer you. Just if you do have any injuries at all, please just make sure you stay safe. Don't do anything that feels uncomfortable or that you feel you shouldn't be doing. Rest anytime you need to, just remembering that I can't see you, so I can't advise you on whether you're doing anything right or wrong. So just take care to just watch what I'm doing if you're not sure, and just stay safe. Listen to your body. So let's get going then. Starting, we're going to find our nice neutral standing posture. So just making sure that we're standing nice and tall with the heels underneath your hip bones. There's two bony parts of your hips, not the outside of the hips. It's your hip bones we're thinking about there. So your feet are parallel, your toes are facing forwards, and then just look up and lengthen your neck and lengthen your spine. So just making sure the chin's slightly tucked in, your head sitting directly in between your shoulders, and the crown of your head is just lifting up towards the ceiling. Just try and make sure your shoulders are away from your ears. So just pull your shoulders down. Make sure your chest is open, so just chest is slightly lifted without flaring the rib cage. If you feel like your rib cage is popping up, just soften it down towards your hips. So we're just trying to make sure that we don't allow that big gap between the bottom of the rib cage and the hip bones just to really open up wide. So make sure that your pelvis is in neutral. So I just stand sideways, just do a little tip and tilt of the pelvis. Try and keep everything else you've just set up nice and still. So just try and settle in that position in between. So your pelvis is neutral, and then we can draw the abdominals in. So just feel your abdominals pulling in and pulling up. So you've got that support all the way around your centre as if you've got on a corset, supporting your back and keeping your pelvis nice and neutral. So from there, let's just do another big shoulder roll. So bring your shoulders forwards up by your ears and slide your shoulder blades back and down, and then keep your shoulder blades down with your shoulders away from your ears, and just reach your arms forward. So your palms are facing the floor, your fingertips pointing forwards. Breathing in, we're just going to lift the arms up towards the ceiling. Breathing out, just reach them forwards again. And breathing in, just lift the arms up. Just a little bit of upper body and shoulder work, starting off warming up through the shoulders. Then bring the arms forward. Now take your arms wide to the side. Breathing in, reach your arms up and reach them wide to the side. Breathing in, arms up. Breathing out, reach them wide to the side. And now bring them forwards in line with your shoulders. Now lift them up and take them wide to the side. Bring them forwards, up and wide. Now take them up, forwards and wide, and up, forwards and wide. Bring your arms down by your sides. Roll your shoulders again. Interlace your fingers. Push your hands down towards the floor. Keep your arms nice and long. Float your arms forward. Fingers still interlaced. Arms shoulder height. And then slowly float your arms up overhead. And turn your palms to face the ceiling. So you've just turned your hands inside out. Stretch, reach your hands to the ceiling, and then release off. Let's add a little bit of a balance. So now we're going to breathe, and we're going to lift the heels off the floor and just press your palms up towards the ceiling, coming into your standing balance. Soften into your elbows as you release your heels. And go again, lift the heels, just reach your hands towards the ceiling, and lower back down again. And one more last time, so just getting a nice big stretch whilst we challenge our balance. Bring your heels down, bring your arms forward, slowly bring your arms down, release your fingers, bring your arms down by your sides, breathing in, lift your arms up, and breathing out. Take a big circle of the arms wide side, just open your shoulders and open your chest. From there, we're going to take a wider stance today. So step your left leg and then your right leg nice and wide. So your heels are wider than your hips, so your legs are in that V shape. But try and make sure your shoulders stay over your hips. So we're standing nice and tall, long in the spine. Again, we've still got that connection through our center. Just let your arms release down by your sides, shoulders away from your ears. Pull the abdominals in. Breathe in as you breathe out. Just bend your knees and take your arms wide to the side. And if you can, just bring your palms together overhead. And as you breathe in, push into your feet. Squeeze your glutes and your inner thighs. Bring your thumbs towards your sternum. And then let's go down again, bending your knees, pushing wide to the side, shoulders over your hips, reach your fingertips up towards the ceiling. And then as you breathe in, let's straighten the legs, reach your arms wide to the side and bring your hands down by the side of your hips. Breathe in. As you breathe out, let's push the knees wide to the side. Make sure your knees go over your second toes. Bring your palms together. And then breathing in, push into your feet, squeeze your glutes, straighten your legs, hands back to prayer. Let's go down again. So you're just dropping your tailbone down towards the floor in between you. So you don't need to go this deep if you don't want to. And then arms wide, so push into your feet. Bring your arms down. Let's go down one more last time. So exhaling, bending the knees. Keep your spine nice and long. Arms wide to the side, palms together overhead. Can you stay down in this squat? And then slowly draw your hands down towards the center of your chest. So your thumbs are just gently resting on your sternum. Breathe in as you breathe. Can you just take a spine twist to the left? And breathe in, come back to center. Keep pressing into your feet. Keep your knees pushing wide to the side. So any pressure in your knees, just come out of your squat and do your spine twist, standing nice and tall. Otherwise, we're really strengthening our legs. Feel that work in your legs as we're just mobilizing your upper body. Can you sink a bit deeper? Or straighten the legs a little bit if you need to. One more each side, just feeling that burn in your thighs. And last time, and then let's push into the feet, straighten your legs, reach your fingertips up overhead, keep your palms together, soften your elbows, draw your shoulder blades down towards the base of the spine. Breathe in as you breathe. Can you just take a little side bend there? So just keep your head framed in between your upper arms. Breathing in, straighten your spine, and breathing out, just take a little gentle side bend the other way. And fingertips to ceiling. So just thinking that you're trying to get a C curve in your spine here. Really nice stretch down your side waist. Always remember to keep your abdominals drawing in. So keep that support around your center. Let's do one of those each way. Just getting that nice stretch as we flex the spine. And last time, over to the right. And then back to center. Just release your fingertips up towards the ceiling. Take your arms wide to the side and slowly bring your arms all the way down by the side of your hips. And just walk your feet in. Let's give our legs a little bit of a shake. Just release off any tension in your legs. And then we can go to the end of the mat. If you're not there already, just walk to the end of your mat. So you've got the length of your mat in front of you. So now we can do some forward flexion. So make sure now that your heels are back underneath your hips. So the same stance we found at the very beginning. So your legs are parallel, toes facing forward. Just soften your knees a little bit. Just reset your shoulders. So a little shoulder roll there. Breathe in as you breathe out. Just let your chin fall towards your chest. Just that opening in the back of the neck. Then we're going to round the shoulders. And then slowly coming down. Bend your knees as much as you need to. And even slide your hands down your legs if you need support. Just coming down as deep into this forward flexion as you feel you can. You might get your fingertips towards the floor, you might not. Breathe in as you pull the abdominals in, so really scooping in as we slowly come all the way up to standing. So getting that nice stretch into the back of the legs as you come down and up. And really feel the lower back opening. And then let's go down again. Try and let your arms hang if they can, just so your arms just hanging from your shoulder joints, like a rag doll. Top of the head towards the floor, so you're looking in between your legs as you go down. Remember, you can be here if you need to with your knees, a big bend in the knees if you've got back issues. Slowly coming back up. So we always have modifications. Breathe in one more last time. Let's slowly come down. So just getting that warmth into our spine, into the back of the legs. When your hands are reaching towards the mat, bend your knees and let's walk out onto the mat. We'll probably be 3 hand paces forward. Then make sure your hands are in alignment and drop your knees onto the floor and then untuck your toes. So we're in our tabletop position now. So just make sure your wrists are under your shoulders, your knees are underneath your hips. So your arms are a little bit wider than your knees. Lengthen your spine. Try and make sure that, again, that your pelvis is in that neutral position before we start. Your shoulder blades are back and down. So we don't want to be here, we don't want to be here, we want to be here with the legs. But always remember, we'll have natural curves in our spine. So just making sure that we have that before we start. So we're really in a nice tabletop posture here before we start. So from there, let's take an in-breath, pull the abdominals in. And then as you breathe out, we're just going to tuck the tail and we're coming out of that posture. We're going to really arch the spine, coming into a cat stretch. Chin to chest, tail tucks under. And then as you breathe in, just tip your sit bones up towards, so you're not trying to drop your belly towards the floor now. Slide your shoulder blades down towards your hips and then bring your chest and your eye gaze forward. And then from there, let's find the length in our spine again. So just coming back into that neutral tabletop position. We're going to work into the sideways now. We're going to do a thread the needle. If you need to, just come down onto your forearms so your elbows are underneath your shoulders or staying up on your hands and knees. Let's start with the left arm. So as you breathe in, just lift your left hand off the floor, float the left arm up towards the ceiling, follow the arm with the eyes, stack your left shoulder over your right, you're really opening up your shoulders and your chest. And as you breathe out, we're going to bend into the right elbow and we're going to thread that left arm underneath your rib cage and reach the left fingertips towards the opposite side wall. So you're bending the right elbow, reaching through with your left arm. Push into your right arm, straighten your right arm, breathing in. We're going to pull that arm back through and lift the arm up towards the ceiling again. Stack your shoulders, just follow the hand with your eyes. And then breathing out, we're going to bend that right elbow. We're going to thread that left arm underneath you again. So just getting that work through the side waist and that rotation in your spine. Your hips do not rotate. Your hips don't flex. We're flexing the hips as we lower down towards the floor. But when you thread your arm underneath, you don't pull your hip with you, through with you. So we're just getting that twist from the bottom of your rib cage, or from your waist, and then coming back up again. So a lot of weight bearing here through your right arm, so strengthening into the right arm and the shoulder joint. And last time, let's do one more, reaching through. Maybe you might feel you can go a little bit deeper. So your arms just hovering off the mat, maybe a couple of inches away from the floor. Try not to slide your arm along that. Let's just finish off with just really opening the shoulders and your chest as you lift that arm up. And then slowly bring the arm down and put that hand on the mat underneath your shoulders. Just reset. Let's do another cat and cow. So breathe in, both of your hands and knees on the floor. As you breathe out, let's tuck the tail under. So now we're rounding the spine. That's a nice flowing movement all the way up your spine, chin to chest. Let's go back into that cow pose. So sit bones tip up, the spine dips, the chest lifts, and we look forward. And then again, just really find that length in your spine again, back to your neutral tabletop. Right arm now, threading the needle. So just lift your right hand off the floor as you breathe in. Lift the right arm, open up the shoulder and chest, right arm to ceiling. And then bending into your left elbow, we're going to thread the arm underneath you and reach the fingertips towards the opposite side wall. Try not to pull your hip through with you. And breathing in, straighten your left arm. Reach your right arm up, stack your right shoulder over your left as best as you can. Let's dive under again. Threading that arm through as far as you feel you can go without pulling the hips through with you. And then let's go again. Fill your lungs up with air. So bring right to the base of your lungs into your rib cage and diving under again, slowly exhaling it out like your lungs are bellows here. We're blowing them up and we're letting all the air out as we thread under. One more last time, fill up with air, lift up, reach, and last time, let's thread the arm underneath us. Really big reach through there. And then finishing off just by, as we did on the other side, that big lift and reach, open your shoulders, open your chest, put your hand on the mat underneath your shoulder. One more last cat and cow to finish. Breathe in. As you breathe out, tuck your tail. Let's round the spine. So just keep your spine nice and straight this time. And then finishing off with your cow pose. So there's much movement in the spine. So we've moved the spine in lots of different directions on all fours now. You might just want to sit on your heels now or come to a high kneeling position. If that's more better for you, roll your shoulders, just getting some mobility around your shoulder joint, and you might just want to circle your wrists as well. Just get some movement back into your wrist. So now we're going to work the back of the body in extension. So put your hands on the mat. So make sure we're coming to lie down all the way down and off front. So come down nice and safely. You might want to just drop onto your forearms, then walk the knees back so we can gently put the hips and then your chest all the way down on the floor. So we're lying fully down on our fronts. Can you take your arms into a capital E position today? So by that, I mean your elbows are in line with your shoulders and your middle fingers are in line with your elbows. So you've got right angles behind your elbows there. So we're like a goalpost. So your forearms just resting lightly on the mat. Let's lengthen our legs. So your legs are hip width apart behind you as they were standing when we started off our setup. So your heels are in line with your sit bones. Your legs are really lengthened. Just make sure that the lower back feels open. So you really need to feel like you're trying to push your sit bones towards your heels. So that very lower part of your spine opens up a little bit. And as you do that, just try and draw your abdominals away from the mat. So you've got that lift, that again, you've got that support all the way around your center. So keeping your tummy pulling in, just make sure your head's hovered off the mat. So your nose is pointing down and the top of your head is reaching forwards. You could put a folded up towel or a cushion or a Pilates block underneath your forehead if you need a little bit of support, rather than tucking your chin towards your chest and resting your forehead on the floor. Then you lose that nice alignment. So the neck stays in line with the spine. So from here, we're going to take a big in breath. Breathe in through your nose, and then as you breathe out, we're just gently going to lift the head and the chest away from the floor, using the muscles in your back. Try not to press into your arms. Then breathing in, we're just going to lower back down again, so your nose just hovers off the mat. Exhaling, lengthen and lift. So keep your neck long. So just lifting, keeping the ribs on the floor. So we're not trying to come up too high, and we're not pressing into our arms to come up. We're using our back muscles and making sure that the abdominals are drawing in as we lengthen and lift. So a really nice exercise for our back. So strengthening and lengthening. So good for our posture. Let's do one more like that. So use your exhale. Remember, we nearly always exhale on the effort. The biggest effort is that lift as we just come away from the floor with the chest and slowly come back down. So if you want to work a little bit more, next time we lift the head and the chest, we're just going to float the arms away from the floor at the same time. So your elbows are in line with your fingertips. Your forearms are more or less parallel to the floor as we lift, and then lower them very lightly back down on the floor. So your head, your chest, and your arms all float away from the floor at the same time. So we've got the added weight of our arms going across the back into your shoulders. So keep your arms down if this isn't for you. So it's a little bit more challenging. So just maintaining as much length as you can in your spine. So we're not trying to come up really high here. The aim is to just feel extension and work down the back of the body. So if you want a little bit more, next time you float your head, your chest, your arms away, just lengthen your right leg and just hover your right leg off the floor. Maybe lifting a little bit higher, reaching through your toes, so your knee comes off the floor, engage your glute. And then lower the upper body down and put your leg back down on the floor. And then lift your upper body and lift your left leg off the floor. Make sure you engage your glute, reach through your toes. Don't lift the leg too high, think length again. So your upper body and alternate legs are just lifting away from the floor. You can do this, keeping your arms on the floor and just lifting your head, your chest and your legs if you want the support with both of the arms still on the floor. Let's just do one more of those each side. So working all the way down the back of the body now, strengthening, lengthening. And last time, it's going to be your left leg if you started with your right leg, or both legs down. Come up and slowly lower your arms, your chest. Then put your hands underneath your shoulders. Let's push ourselves up onto our hands and knees and pull your sit bones back towards your heels. So just drawing back. Just taking a really nice stretch there. And then let's come up onto our hands and knees. Walk yourself on your hands and knees towards the bottom end of your mat. Take your legs round to one side. So we're coming to our seated exercise next. So this is going to be a little bit of a roll back with mobilizing through our shoulders and our hips, but you don't need to do that. I will give you different levels again. Make sure you're sitting really nice and tall. So think really good posture here with your shoulders over your hips, heels Knees and sit bones or hip bones in that neutral alignment again. Chest and shoulders are wide and open, and make sure, again, try not to flare your rib cage, so just soften your ribs down towards your hips like we did when we were standing. So from there, you can keep your hands behind your thighs if you want a little bit of support. Otherwise, if you feel confident, just reach your arms forward, shoulder height, shoulder width apart. Breathe in as you breathe out. Just tuck your tailbone under, just roll off your sit bones, just going on to the back of your hips. Breathe in as you breathe out. Use the abdominals, pulling them in, come back up. Shoulders rise over your hips, and then rebuild your spine. Sit really tall at the top. Breathe in, breathe out, tuck and roll. So this is, we're flexing the spine, so we're C-curving into our spine. So we do that extension, line down. So this is more flexion and core strength. So let's do one more like that. So make sure you're really tucking under. So just getting that support for your back. So not leaning back, or rolling back, not too far. Come back up. So you can stay with that. You can rest anytime you need to. Otherwise, let's tuck under. Just roll onto the back of your hips. Stay here. Breathe in as you breathe. Just float your left arm up towards the ceiling in line with your ear. And breathe in, reach it forwards again. And then your right arm, fingertips to the ceiling. Fingertips reach forward. Exhale, one more of those each side. Just an arm scissor up and forwards. And the last time, your right arm up and forwards as you breathe in. So we should be on our exhale now to come back up. Sit tall at the top. Breathe in as you breathe out. Let's tuck and roll. You can come straight back up if you need to. Otherwise, breathe in. As you breathe out, lift your left foot off the floor. Bring your left thigh in towards you. And breathe in, put the foot back down. Keep your arms still this time. Your right foot lifts off the floor. You don't need to lift the leg this high. You might just want to hover your foot off the floor. Let's do one more of those each side. So really feel that challenge all the way around your center, really pulling in. So really focusing on that core strength there. It's just mobilizing at the hips. We should be on our inhale now, so we can use our exhale to come up, sit really nice and tall. Breathe in, we're just going back again. So you can either do the arm movements or the leg movements, or we're going to put the two together if you can. Breathe in, as you breathe out, let's lift the left arm up and your right leg comes up to more or less that tabletop position. Reach your left arm forward, put your right foot down, right arm up. Left foot comes off the floor, doesn't matter, it doesn't need to come this high. And just one more of those each side. So right leg, left arm. So trying to really maintain that support all the way around your center. Watch your backs. Foot down, arm comes forward. So we should be breathing in and breathing out. Slowly come all the way up. Breathe in, let's lift the arms up towards the ceiling. Take a big circle of your arms wide to the side, breathing out. Breathe in, reach your arms forward. Put your hands on the floor behind your hips if you need to. We're going to roll all the way down. On your exhale, tuck and roll. You even want to lie on your side and come down. Make sure you come down really safely. So imprint your spine. Float your arms up towards the ceiling. Then float your arms towards the floor behind you when your shoulders and your head meet the floor. Then a big circle of your arms wide to the sides. Let your arms rest on the mat by the side of your hips. And then walk your feet in a little bit. So your knees are bent and your feet are flat on the floor. So this is where we find our neutral lying down position. So if you've done with this with me for quite a few weeks, we should be quite confident in finding this neutral lying position. So heels, knees and hip bones in alignment. Make sure your shoulders are wide across your back, shoulder blades on the mat. Your back ribs are on the floor, so you can soften the front of your ribs down towards your hips. Your pelvis just in that neutral position again. So remember how to find that. Just flatten your lower back into the mat, arch it away, and then just set it in that neutral position in between. Then make sure that we're quite strong in our abdominals here. So just pulling the abdominals in, pulling up, or think about maybe lifting up your pelvic floor. So really good to challenge our pelvic floor strength. Just let your arms rest lightly on the mat down by your sides to start off with, and then take an in-breath. As you breathe out, we're just going to lift the left foot off the floor, bring your left leg to a tabletop position. Then, as you breathe in, we're going to stretch that leg away, so extending the leg, reach your toes towards the wall in front of you. And then we're going to bend the knee back over your hip, and then put your foot back lightly on the floor. Then your right leg, tabletop, stretch it away. Bend the knee over your hip and put your foot down on the floor. So you might just want to stay with this all the time, maintaining the length of your lower back on the floor, just the lower part of your back. Don't let it arch away from the floor. One more last time. Let's lift the right leg, stretch it away, bend the knee and put it back on the mat where it came from. Let's next go up a level, lift your left foot off the floor and then your right foot off the floor. Immediately feel that work in your deep lower abdominal muscles there. Make sure your knees are over your hips, your heels are in line with your knees, and there's no arching of the back away from the mat. You will have probably a little curve in your back, but make sure your pelvis is still in that neutral position. Arms light on the mat down by your sides and turn your palms in to face your hips, thumbs to ceiling. Breathe in. As you breathe out, stretch your left leg away to 45 degrees, maybe a little bit lower, maybe a little bit higher if your back arches off than that. Breathing in, bring your knee back over your hip. Then your right leg, stretch it away and bring it back in. Left leg, so your single leg extensions. Let's add in our arms now. Stretch your left leg away and take your right arm towards the floor behind you. Arm by your side, knee over your hip. And then your right leg, stretch it away as your left arm goes back. Keeping your spine still, your abdominals really engaged. Alternate opposite arm and opposite leg. So we can keep it at this speed, nice and slowly. So exhale as you extend away, inhaling as you bring back in, or we can go double time. So our arms and our legs are switching, so that if you speeded it up, it's 2 stretches as you breathe in and 2 as you breathe out. Nice smooth movements, reaching through your fingertips and your toes. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Remember to breathe into your upper body, so you're breathing into the sides of your ribs and into your back as well. Try not to belly breathe. So just getting a little bit more warmth now as we're speeding up a little bit. You don't need to go too fast, but just a little bit more challenging as we're switching. Slow it right down. If you need to, can we keep going? So you might feel your heart rate's getting up a little bit here. And let's do 2 more sets of breathing. In through your nose for 2 stretches, out through the mouth for 2. One more last set. Woohoo. And then last time. Hands on your knees, just bring your knees gently in towards your chest. Give your knees a bit of a hug. And then take a gentle rock from side to side. Then put your feet on the floor, one at a time. Let's reset in that neutral lying down position. And then when you've settled, just let your arms rest on the mat down by your sides, palms facing in, thumbs to ceiling. Keep your neck nice and long, engaged. So drawing those abdominals in again, pulling up. And this time, as you breathe in, we're going to float both the arms towards the floor behind you. Don't let your rib cage pop up here. And as you breathe out, big circle of the arms. This time, arms go wide to side and back in line with your hips. Breathing in through your nose, arms go back, and breathing out, this circle wide to side and in. So you might just want to stay with this. So this is your very basic level. Just making sure that we really feel that the chest is opening up, the arms are pulling through the air, so active arms, active shoulders, active chest. So last time like that, or stay with that. Keep your arms in line with your hips, lift your feet off the floor one at a time. Bring your knees over your hips, heels in line with your knees, or put one foot on the floor and have one leg at tabletop and do an arm circle or 2 and then swap over, otherwise keep your legs still. Breathing in, arms go back, and breathing out, they circle round. And go again, breathing in and breathing out. So we did those single leg extensions just now when we did our scissors, when we did opposite arm, opposite leg. So you can either carry on with single leg extensions as the arms go back, or we can do a double leg stretch. So 2 arms and 2 legs stretch away. And you breathe out, you bring your knees in and circle your arms wide to side and in. Inhale, stretch away, exhale, scoop your arms round as your knees come in. So single legs, double legs, but 2 arms if you can. Working with your breathing, make sure your lower back doesn't arch off the floor, be careful. You might want to just take your legs higher up towards the ceiling. If you feel any movement in your lower back, that just makes it a little bit easier. You might feel you can take your legs a little bit lower towards the floor if you want more of a challenge, but always be mindful, listen to your bodies. Keep going, rest if you need to. Let's do 4 more. Stretch your arms and legs away, suck your arms around, knees come in, just 3 more. Unless you need to take a rest, 2 more. And 1 more last time. So your arms suck around, your knees come in again. Just put your hands on top of your knees or behind your knees indeed if you want to, just whatever feels better for you, just so you can release off your lower back and open it up. Then 1 at a time, we're going to put our feet down on the floor. So a little bit different today for our upper body work. So we're going to open up the hips today. So find again that same neutral line down position, but have your feet pinned together and the knees pinned together. So your knees are engaged, do ankle bones together, just while we set ourselves up. So feet flat on the floor. Interlace your fingers, lift your head off the floor, cradle the back of your head in your hands, and lower your head and hands back down again, and just float your arms just away from the floor so you can just see your elbows out of the corners of your eyes. Make sure your neck is nice and long. Pelvis is still in that neutral position and your core is engaged here, your abdominals are pulling in. So from here, breathe in. As you breathe out, we're just going to curl up. So lift your head and peel the upper spine away from the mat. And breathe in, lower back down again. So just supporting your head in your hands there. Try not to let your elbows come in towards each other, keeping your elbows nice and wide. So you can stay with this if you want to, just keeping your knees and your feet pinned together. Otherwise, if you want to come with me, we're just going to open the knees, keeping the feet together as you curl up, and then pull your knees back together as you lower your head and shoulders. So we're opening up the hips, so your soles of your feet just turning towards each other. So you're going on to the outside of your feet as your knees go wide to the side, and then feet flat on the floor as you lower your head and shoulders, knees come together. Exhale, lift and open. And inhale, come back down. So this is your next option, just to stay with this. If you want to come up another layer, next time your head and shoulders are down, lift your feet off the floor 1 at a time. Pin your knees and your feet together again. Keep your elbows nice and wide. We're going to do the same movement through the hips, but we're going to keep the feet off the floor. So breathe in. As you breathe out, open your knees, keep your feet together, peel your head and shoulders off the mat, and then close your knees as your head and shoulders come down again. So feet together, knees wide. So you're looking in between your thighs as you curl up. And slowly come down. Remember to try not to let the elbows draw in towards each other. So just a nice hip opening exercise whilst we really work our upper abdominals, or deep lower abdominals, working with your breath. Rest if you need to. Let's do 2 more. Curling up, looking between your thighs, come down, knees together, and 1 more last time. Good. And knees together, 1 at a time. Safely put your feet down on the floor. Keep your feet on the floor. Reach your arms long overhead and take a big sweeping circle of your arms wide to the sides, and just bring your arms down. Your hands just rest on the floor by the side of your hips. And then just release. Let your shoulder blades sink onto the mat. So let's work the back of the body next. We're going to work in our bridge next. So just walk your heels in a little bit closer towards your sit bones, about a hand distance away. Again, that same alignment with your heels, your knees, and your sit bones or your hip bones, making sure that we still need to open the back of the leg, but you don't want to have a cushion or a head support underneath your head for your bridge. So the back of your head needs to be resting on your mat. Just keep your arms long by the side of your hips. Again, same neutral position for your pelvis. Again, making sure we're still drawing the abdominals in. And then we should just about be ready to go. So breathe in. Nice big in breath. As you breathe out, tuck your tail under, flatten your lower back onto the mat. Engage your glutes and then, excuse me, slowly peel your spine away from the mat. So lifting your hips up, your hip bones should be level, but try not to let your rib cage pop up. Breathe in. As you breathe out, slowly coming down. So you're just finding that imprint of your spine, one vertebrae at a time. So just getting all that lovely movement all the way down your spine. Breathe in. As you breathe out, you can press into your feet if that helps. Push your knees forward, making sure that your knees stay hip width apart all the time. So we don't want the knees to wander wide or to come in towards each other. So we're keeping a really nice alignment all the way up and all the way down. You don't need to come all the way up onto your shoulders. You might just want to stay at the bottom and do those little pelvic tips and tilt, just mobilizing the very lower part of your spine if it's not for you coming all the way up. But really strong in the back of the body. Feel it in your hamstrings, in your glutes, in your back. Try not to press too much into your arms unless you need to for stability. So you can stay with those. So I'm just moving towards the bottom end of my mat. If you feel strong, let's come up into our bridge. So stay here. So pressing into your feet. We're going to turn the palms in to face each other, thumbs to ceiling, like we did when we were in that seated half roll back. Breathe in. As you breathe out, just float your right arm towards the floor behind you. Breathing in, bring it back down by your side. Don't move anything else. Then your left arm. So we're going to do 2 of these each side, exactly as we did in that half roll back when we were in our seated. And then your left arm, maybe just tapping your thumb onto the floor. Both of the arms come back, so we should be exhaling now. Slowly come all the way down out of your bridge. Remember, you do not need to stay up. Breathe in. As you breathe out, let's come all the way up again. Stay here. If your hips start to sink like this down towards where you need to come out of your bridge, we need to maintain this strong bridge position. You can put your arms on the mat down by your sides now. Breathe in. As you breathe, just lift your left foot off the floor and bring your knee over your hip. You don't need to bring this leg so high off the floor. Put the left foot down, press into your left foot and bring your right foot off the floor. And push it down, press into your right foot. You might just want to hover your foot off the floor. That's fine. Otherwise, bring the knee over your hip if you can. So again, we're really pressing into the foot that's on the floor. Put your right foot back down, and we should be exhaling now to come all the way down out of your bridge. We're going to come up one more last time, and as we did seat, we're going to put those 2 together, or just do the arms and the legs if you don't want to do both. Let's curl up again, so peel away, use your glutes, lift your hips nice and high, stay here. Breathe in. As you breathe out, your right arm's going to go back as your left foot lifts off the floor. Pushing into your right foot, arm down, foot down, left arm, right leg. Keep really strong in that foot that's on the floor and in your glutes and in your abdominals. 1 more of those each side if you can. Do not sink your hips towards the floor. Come down out of that if you need to, both of your feet on the floor. So last time, left arm, right leg. Both of your feet on the floor, both of the arms down by your sides. And roll all the way down out of your bridge. So just allowing your spine to slowly melt all the way down onto the mat. Then from there, just bring your knees in towards your chest one at a time. Give your knees a hug. Take a little gentle rock from side to side. Put your feet down on the floor 1 at a time. And then let's roll over onto our side. So let's do some side work now. So just to switch it up a little bit. So lie all the way down on your side. Have your knees bent and line your heels up with your sit bones and your shoulders. So feel your spine is long and you're in a really nice side lying posture. So we balance both sides of the body. We need to try and lift the inner side waist off the floor. So just try and push your top hip away. So stack your top hip over your bottom hip. So that should allow your inner waist just to lift off the floor so your spine is lengthened, it's not slumping down towards the floor. Make sure your neck is long in line with your spine, shoulders are stacked, knees are together, ankles are together, feet are together. So just do some clams first of all. So engage your core, or maybe lift up your pelvic floor when you're on your side line. Good practice, just really pull the pelvic floor up nice and high, or lift it up nice and high, maintaining that contraction. Breathe in. As you breathe out, let's keep the feet together, open the top knee, and breathe in, close. Very lightly let your top knee rest on your bottom knee. Let's pull it away again, and close. Pull it away as if you've got chewing gum stuck in between your knees, so your knees are stuck together. You need that effort to pull that top knee away, but maintaining that top hip over your bottom hip all the time. Knee comes down, next option, keep your knees down, lift your feet off the floor, high climb. So keep your feet together, let's do 4 more like that. Open and close, go nice and slowly, pull away. So really working our glutes, our hips, our thighs. 2 more like that. Open and close. And last time, pull away. Close the knees. Keep your knees down. If you lifted your feet off the floor, drop your feet back down on the floor. Your heels are hopefully still lined up with your sit bones. Okay, let's let the bottom leg have a rest. Let's extend your top leg away, so lengthen your top leg now. Look down, make sure you can see your foot, then look forwards again. Flex your top foot, so the sole of your foot is facing the wall in front of your foot. Breathe in. As you breathe out, glide that leg forward, so keeping it at hip height, glide the leg forward, then point your toe as you bring that leg back just to that midline, just to that starting point. Breathe in, lift that leg with your toes pointed up towards the ceiling, and then flex the foot, lower the leg back down just to hip height. So you draw an L shape with your leg, flex the foot forward, point the toes, sweep it back, point the toes, lift it up, flex the foot, lower it back down. And keep going forwards and in and up and down. Keep going. And keep going. We're halfway. We're going to do 8 of these. This is number 5, if I can count. So it doesn't need to be a big movement. You can keep it really small if you need to. Otherwise, a big sweep forwards. Keep your torso completely still. It's only the leg moving out of your hip. And keep going. And 1 more last time. Hopefully we've done 8. You might have done 9, 1 for lucky if you did. And then lower your leg down. Then bend your top knee. Just allow that top knee to rest on the floor in front of your bottom leg. Just release off your hips, your glutes. So just switch off those muscle groups, your thighs, your leg. And just take a breath or 2. Roll over onto your other side, or if you need to, like I do, just come up to seated. And then lie down and just take a moment to set yourself up. So making sure you're in a really good alignment, lying down. So again, just heels are in line with your sit bones, your knees are bent, your sit bones are lined up with your shoulders. You're long in your spine, you've got that little space underneath your sideways. So really make sure your top hip is stacked over your bottom hip. You can keep your hand on your hip thigh, or you put your fingertips on the floor. If you need a little bit more stability, ready to go? Pull the abdominals in, lift up your pelvic floor, breathe in. As you breathe out, open the top knee and breathe in and close. Pull away and close. Let's do that 2 more times with the feet down. So remember, resist. So pull that knee away, gently, just very gently drop the top knee and the bottom knee last time like that. And then we're going to lift the feet off the floor, high climb, breathing out. And in. Open as we exhale, close as you inhale. 2 more. And last time, knees together. If you lifted your feet off the floor, pop your feet back down on the floor. Switch up your bottom leg, stretch your top leg away. Look down, make sure you can see your feet, foot. Then flex your top foot, your legs at hip height. Breathe in. As you breathe out with the foot flex, glide the leg forward with the toes pointed. Bring the leg back to the midline. Keep the toes pointed, lift the leg up and flex the foot, lower it back down. Keep going, flex forward, point in, point up and flex down. So we've got 6 more to do, so make the movement smaller. If you need to, remember it doesn't need to be a big range of movement. We don't want to have too much movement in our torso. It shouldn't be rocking forwards and backwards. Keep as much stillness as you can. 3 more. So really nice work for our hips, our glutes and our legs. And we should be on our last one. Sweep forward, pull leg in, sweep it up, flex your foot, lower it down, and bend the knee. Rest the knee on the mat in front of your bottom leg. Switch off around your glutes, around your hips. Excuse me. Come back onto your fronts, come onto your hands and knees, tabletop. Wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Just going to do a little bit of a stretch before we finish. So again, that nice length in your spine, tummy's pulled in. Let's do cat and cow. We did a few of those at the beginning. Let's do one each way. Just getting that movement into your spine again. So starting from neutral, breathe in. As you breathe out, tuck your tail around the spine, chin to chest, just gently pressing into your hands, stretch across your mid, your upper back, and breathing in. Tip your sit bones up towards the ceiling, tip your spine. Look forward to your chest is forward, and from there, coming back. Oh dear, I'm sorry. Come back into your neutral tabletop position. Tuck your toes under. Hover your knees off the floor. Breathe in as you breathe out. Can you tip your hips up towards the ceiling? Push your heels towards the floor. Come into a down facing dog. Push your chest towards the thighs. Hips are really nice. Stretch down the back of your legs. Into your front of your chest, your shoulders. Then walk your hands to your toes. Put your heels. Put your heels on the floor. And we just fold it over here. Just shake your head, nod your head, big bend in the knees if you need to. Breathe in as you breathe out. Let's slowly restack our spines, coming up nice and slowly, standing nice and tall at the top. Roll your shoulders. Breathe in as you breathe out, chin to chest. Let's roll down again. Just taking a nice stretch in the back of the legs, but bend your knees if you need to. So we should feel that so much more easy as we come down than we did at the beginning of the class. Slowly coming all the way up. We should be at least an inch taller now. Standing nice and tall at the top. Just roll your shoulders, reset your shoulders. Keep your shoulders down, float your arms up towards them, soften into your knees. Breathe in, pull your abdominals in as you breathe up. We're just going to sweep up, down, and bend your knees, reach up. So a big bend in the knees, sweep your fingertips towards the floor, coming back up. Let's do that 2 more times, exhaling and inhale one more last time. Sweep down, sweep up, reach your arms up towards the ceiling, look up, just take a stretch. And then look forward, take your arms wide to side, bring your arms all the way down by your sides, roll your shoulders, shake out your legs, and well done. Thank you all of you for joining me today, for taking time out of your day when it's lovely and sunny outside.